and how we came together to work on this project. So this is the Inspiring Vision series, and this is the second official segment. So last month in December, we were with Helen Rivera, and tonight you can introduce yourself, please.
I'm Brianna Nikolić.
and
yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm 26. I'm a wife, soon-to-be mama. We are entrepreneurs too, and yeah, I'm so excited to work with Dr. Liz tonight. And how we know each other.
So I used to be your teacher.
Yes.
Way in the olden days, and then we stayed connected through Facebook. One of my favorite events ever was when you were the Zumba instructor for a fundraiser.
So connected.
Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm. That was so funny.
And that was so much fun. And yeah, and then we just stayed connected on Facebook. And last month, a few weeks before, I would say Christmas, you had posted a few lives, and one of them had a hashtag vision. And I was really, it was on my mind, and I was really just thinking about, the end of the year and the new year, and wanting to talk about vision. So I watched your live, and I was thinking I want to create a vision board because, as I said before, I had created one, I want to say 10 years ago.
Right.
And updated it maybe once or twice. I was in grad school and put a lot of things on this vision board, goals that were kind of just in line with the program. And along with my education, I put some goals on there for a family, and I had no children at the time, and that was also another goal of mine. And I really, I thought I loved it, and I thought it was really helpful for me, and I still have it. It's on a whiteboard, so it's not too fancy. So I watched your live, and you had talked about vision and vision board creation, and a vision board event that you had with your family last year that was super successful. And I messaged you right away and said, can we talk? And from there, our first conversation, you said, let's be accountability partners. And I love that. Or let's be accountable to each other.
Right.
Because it's so important, right? We
can
have goals and we can get excited about them. We're a little bit nervous.
Right.
But when you have accountability or somebody to kind of keep you in check, it really helps.
Totally.
So then I asked you if you would be a part of this Inspiring Vision series, and you generously and graciously accepted.
Which I think it's so awesome that you're doing. So I'm really excited for this year for you, and to keep sharing this,
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
So is there anything off the top of your head from what I've said that you feel like you want to contribute right now, or did you want me to start asking some of the questions I have?
Yeah, let's just start, because I have some, as I was thinking about this before we started, it popped in my head, normally there's two people that start depending on where you are at in your life, you're either at like a really like awesome, like high, like things are going so well for you. You could just be having a baby, or, you just graduate from college, or you just graduate from high school, or you just got that really awesome career job that you've been dreaming for, or you've paid off all your debt, or I don't know, you could be at like an all-time high, or there could be that person that's like at an all-time low in their life. Mm-hmm. And that's usually the two danger spots that you could be in if you're not setting goals or setting vision for your life. You could either be at that all-time low where you're like, how the heck do I get out of here? Or you could be cruising at that top level and like, life's good. I don't need to make any more goals or vision. And that's where you'll start to slowly but surely kill your vision. And so I really believe that tonight's going to help reignite some vision back into people's lives that kind of have lost it. Because I've been on both spectrums where it was really bad, and then I've also been where it's been really good, and lost vision in both arenas. And now I have an accountability coach who she whips my butt, and I'm so grateful for it. And I think that everyone needs a coach, no matter where you're at in life, whether you're at a good spot or a bad spot. You need someone to help coach you out of those moments and out of those, I don't know, I guess moments in your life where it can cause you to be stagnant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like stuck.
Yes.
Stuck.
And you're like,
yeah, because you're talking about transitions, and
yes.
we go through that. We know that there's big life transitions, like you said, like having a baby or paying off debt.
Right.
But there's also little transitions along the way that sometimes we don't pay as close attention to. And sometimes we don't understand why we're feeling stuck or in a rut. But if we do start to pay attention, like, oh, I'm changing a bit here. And this kind of revolution of the year and turning of the calendar always brings that back into mind. And
right.
We reset resolutions, and then we break them. And there's something to be said for setting goals in a way that they're achievable.
Yes.
And they're realistic.
Yes.
But you can also dream a bit, and that's what we're here to talk about tonight. I would love it if you feel comfortable sharing what you shared with me the first time we were on the phone with kind of the transition point that you were in your life. That kind of, you didn't say I'm doing a vision board. You kind of came up with a list that you called something else, and I'd love for you to share that a little bit.
Yeah, so this first started when I was 19 years old. I mean, even as a little girl, I was always a big dreamer. So I always knew at a young age that I wanted to do just something awesome with my life, where I didn't want to settle for mediocrity, where I just knew that life was too short and too precious to be wasting it. So I always had those big dreams, those big visions. But in college, I was in a place where I lost myself, you know, and I had a friend, lost myself, meaning I just got through a breakup, you know, trying to figure out life as a 19-year-old. You know, you're in this like transition of, I'm an adult, and I have to start making decisions for myself that are going to reflect my future, but then also like just leaving your nest from that you've been in for like 18 years. So my friend, she challenged me. She said, Brie, let's do a bucket list, and we're going to write 100 things that we want to do in our life before we die. I'm like, all right, game on. And we did. And I wrote 100 things. I pray that I find this list again, because I think it's on my old MacBook.
Oh.
I ended up dying. But some of the things that I typed it. Yeah, I typed it out. I remembered writing things like, simple things like I want to ride a mechanical bull, you know, and then some big things like I want to study abroad in Spain. I want to go skydiving. Yeah, Margie just said that. Go skydiving. Where I want to
check and check.
Yeah. Where I want to do a bodybuilding competition, be a mom, travel all over the world, kiss my boo under the Eiffel Tower. That hasn't been done yet, but now I have my boo and I can go do it. And so just, you know, really it could be things that are so simple, like riding that mechanical bull or whatever, or something really big and scary. But I just remember writing it and like letting my heart just pour out on that paper. And, you know, I think it was within a year or two, I rechecked it, and like most of those things were crossed off. And I was really amazed at how much, you know, because that was my freshman year of college that I did that. So I rechecked it like my junior year. And it was really amazing to see when you put pen to paper, your vision and your goals for your life, like how it happens. You don't need to know how it happens. You just have to do it by faith.
And I think what you're talking about, faith, right? So having faith that it's going to happen, taking some action towards it. You can't just say, I want to do this and sit back and do nothing and wait for it to happen. And
I wrote this analogy the other day on my Facebook timeline, and I said, faith is it's not religion. Faith is seeing something that you don't, it's believing in something that you don't yet see. So you could be, you know, purchasing your plane ticket to go to Bora Bora or to Texas, I don't know, wherever your heart desires are, but you are going on that plane and you're trusting, you're having complete faith that that captain is fully equipped with knowledge on how to like take off and how to land properly so you get to your destination, but you don't see it. You don't see the destination. A lot of times you don't see the captain. You know, you're just blindly going, trusting and having faith that you're going to get there. So that's what kind of I mean by having that faith of putting it pen to paper. You don't see it happening yet, but you're putting it on paper and saying, you know what, I'm going to write down that I want to be a mom. And you might have had, we had 5 women that had fertility issues and that we worked with. And I think one of them's on here, Taylor Guth. She's now not Taylor Guth anymore, but she, you know, and she had came to me about that, and we made a goal, and we set a goal, and we said, okay, we're going to set this goal that you're going to be a mom, and then we're going to take action. Let's take care of your health, because, you know, your fertility organs are part of your health. So let's start, you know, eating healthier. Let's start, you know, doing workouts that are going to help, you know, speed up your metabolism. That girl got pregnant a year later after we wrote that goal down. And so there's just so much power to it, and it really.
Yeah, and I love that you know, as you're talking, I'm kind of looking at some of the comments. So we'll do a little bit of housekeeping here and say hi to all the people that are watching.
Yes.
Thank you for tuning in. If you haven't yet liked both of our pages, we would love for you to do that. And share the video if you feel so inclined to do so. I always like to say that we will not mention your name unless you comment. I mean, I don't know if Taylor commented, but I just
Oh yes,
given my profession, knowing that I'm a psychologist, so sometimes there may be people out there who there's a confidentiality thing, and I just kind of put that disclaimer out that unless you comment and say it's a hi or something like that, we won't mention by name. But we would love to hear from you. So I'm seeing some people are getting some ideas just from already what you've been saying about your bucket list and what you wrote down, and putting pen to paper or typing it out, putting it somewhere that you can see it. And that, again, that's a bit of accountability there itself. But we'd love to hear from any of the people that are watching, things that have worked for you. If you've had a goal that you found that you were able to achieve, or that you've had some experience in vision boarding or writing down your goals or having an accountability partner, and we'll try to kind of keep our eyes on the comments as we go. Another thing that I think you said earlier that is really important is that everybody's at a different stage in their lives. And so we're sitting here, the two of us, feeling super energized with vision and excitement. And I'll tell you, that's not always how I am. I'm not always feeling that way, but I've noticed in the past few weeks, just starting having a focus and having these goals and being intentional. So a few weeks ago, I said, I'm intentionally going to have this inspiring vision series. And from there, things have just been like rolling, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can keep up with all of this fun, great stuff. And it's fun and it's exciting. Yet I definitely have had times in my life where I was similarly in a transition or had an experience that was really trying. And it's not about scooching past them without acknowledging the emotional impact that they have. It's definitely about allowing yourself to process some of that emotional content that's uncomfortable and maybe stressful. Maybe there's sadness, maybe there's fear, even in this kind of undertaking of visioning and goal planning. It's exciting, but it's also a little bit nerve-wracking. There's a really fine line between feeling nervous and feeling excited, because they produce very similar physiological responses within us. So again, we're here and we want to be inspiring, and we want to talk about our experience with vision, but we also have both been able to be intentional about processing some of the other uncomfortable emotions. And only by kind of being able to sit with some of that is then you make room for the joy and the excitement and the the success.
You know, and as you were saying that, I was thinking of one of our coaches had said, to whom much is given, much is required. So
Mm-hmm.
meaning that you might be asking for a lot on that vision board, and it might be so scary for you that you're like, how is this ever going to happen? But you have to know that it's also a process. And through that process, if you just stick and stay long enough, you will see the refinement of just yourself. If you just stick and stay, you allow yourself to really personally grow and develop and be coached and teachable by other people that have paved the way before you, you are going to see a huge refinement process in you, where those goals that you set, you're going to be able to handle them when the time is right, and that you're at that position to handle that big lofty goal that might be so audaciously scary to you. There's going to come a time where you're going to be like, you know what, I got this, I can do this, I'm going to put my big girl panties on or my big boy panties on, and I'm going to go conquer it. But, you know, you have to understand that when I started this at 19 years old, I'm 26 now, and there's still some goals that I have ahead of me that I've written that it's just, how is this ever going to happen? And I know that through time and through experience and through just sticking and staying in the process of being coached and having a teachable heart and learning from those that are wiser than me, I know eventually the time will come where I'm going to be able to handle those, you know, those things that I set out for myself and our family.
Yeah,
So,
I love that phrase, trust the process. And I say it a lot in my work with people, is that even I tell myself, because I'll in work, you know, sometimes you don't see the results of your efforts right away, no matter what kind of work that you do. And so life is a process, life is a journey, and every step that you take has an impact on what happens down the road.
yeah.
I wanted to, so I'm seeing there are other people who are really kind of identifying with what we're saying. One of the things in my mind, as I'll share that I had a dream maybe like a week or two ago, within this time where I was really just excited with vision. And pause. I just wanted to see if someone with a clock, because I don't have one.
I have one. It's 7:22.
7:22. Okay.
Yeah.
So I just want to be aware of time, that we're going to try to end by 7:45. Yes. So, but I don't have a clock, so I'm going to rely on you for that. So I had this dream, because I get really excited and I have all these ideas, and then there are sometimes, you know, shortly after that, some kind of fear creeps in, and I think, oh, never mind, I'm not going to do that. I can already think of why there's 3,000 reasons why I shouldn't even try that. And I had a dream, and Oprah Winfrey was in my dream. I was sitting at a conference table with Oprah Winfrey, a few colleagues who I didn't really, they weren't familiar to me, and,
Right.
And a rock star, Bono. I don't know the significance of that. But one of the questions that I had for Oprah was, almost kind of like, when you proceed forward with vision, and she's an icon, of a visionary, a visionista,
Right.
is that sometimes there are sacrifices that have to be made. And I'm just kind of wondering for you, if you, when I say that, what, you know, if you have any experience with sometimes what gets sacrificed, when you're moving forward in that kind of a direction.
Oh, that's so good. Honestly, friends, your circle is so important. So you could be watching this video right now and really get excited about what we're saying and feeling that energy, and then you turn off the video and you've got a nagging phone call cousin that's coming through, and they're putting every dream that you're trying to share with them down. And so I think it's so important that if you have there's a vision that has been placed inside of you, a dream that's been placed inside of you, and you really have to be careful about who you're sharing that with. Because if you're sharing that with someone that's a dream thief, a dream killer, a dream slayer, you need to...
I love that, dream slayer.
Yeah.
Yes, let's fight the dream slayers.
And not
Because
that
there
like,
are.
not that they're
Yeah.
bad, like, okay, and again, that's not to say like stop hanging out with family or stop hanging out with, you know, friends that you've been with for a long time, but it's to say
Right.
maybe I need to reduce my time with them, or maybe I need to,
Hmm.
you just have to find other ways to get plugged in a community that's going to help build you up, to lift you up, to encourage you, to inspire you, to keep moving you forward. I will say that, I mean, it's so cliche, but birds of a feather flock together. So are you flocking with chickens, or are you flying with eagles? Because I will say that,
Eagles!
yes, in my time when I was at my lowest lows, it was my group of people that I chose to surround myself. It was when I was when I was 19, I was at a very broken spot. You might not know my story, but my dad, he overdosed of heroin when I was 3.5 years old in front of me, and that was a very traumatic experience in my life, where then it cycled into a lot of other vicious traumatic events in my life. You know, then I lost my uncle, who was my second father figure, when I was 9, to cancer. Then, you know, sexually attacked at 15 and sexually abused at 19. And so when I was at 19, at that 19-year-old state in my life, I had so much fear. I had so much anxiety, so much worry. Just negative thoughts that just crippled my heart, crippled my mind. I mean, I'm talking about like just jealousy, envy, bitterness, hatred, anger. And today you don't see that, because that got healed through a process of deep refinement and really wanting to get out of that cycle. I found a coach that would help me get out of there. And so, you know, that was a process. So when I started this journey, of, you know, becoming a business owner and then becoming a fiance and a wife, I realized, Bree, you need to get your stuff together, because there's some stuff you're really dealing with that's not cute. It's not, you know, it's not beautiful. It's not shining. So there was a group of girls if you live in East Stroudsburg, it's called The Awakening. And that completely transformed my life. I stuck and stayed with those girls because they shared the stuff, the ugly stuff that they went through in life. And you don't hear that too much. A lot of well, so that's for if you're in college, but if you're not, I would say labor and love. Okay. So it's a group that they use like singing, like comedy, and then they use a message to like share a story and bring people together. So staying in that community for about 5 years, 7 years before we moved here, helped me so much, because they would speak life into me. And like, you know, I was around, they went through like a lot of big tragedies in their life, yet they were still so beautiful and shining so bright. And I said, whatever they have, I want it. I want whatever that is that they have. And I knew I was at least not dumb enough to say like, well, I'm going to avoid them. I was smart enough at least in here to say, well, if I want that, I got to go rub some elbows with them. I got to stick and stay with them. So if you don't have that person yet, you need to, you know, either contact Dr. Liz, contact me, you know, and find a community, find a group of people, find a group of warriors that are going to push you. They're going to motivate you. They're going to keep you accountable when you have that poopy attitude and you don't feel like waking up out of bed, or, you know, we all need that. There's days that I even need that. And that's why a faith building message, something that's going to help lift you up, encourage you, is so important. So I'll say friends, I'll say the books or audios that you're listening to. So I had to cut out a lot of like reality TV shows, because I was watching way too much of that crap, which is all gossip. All, you know, it just wasn't feeding where I wanted to go personally. I needed to cut, you know, some people were talking about time management. They have time management issues with reaching their goals. Time management, if you look at how much time you're watching television, the average American, if you reduce it and you replace it with audio messages that are going to help lift you and build you up, I promise you, if you stick and stay with that discipline long enough for this year, 2019 will look completely different for you, because that changed a lot for me too. So the books that you read, the people that you hang out with, those were sacrifices that I had to make. I didn't even like reading. Yeah. One of the things I said after I graduated college was, I'm never going to open up a book again in my life. And that was the most ignorant statement I ever made, because then I started a business and everyone was like, well, leaders are readers. You have to read if you want to grow in your business. And I had to start reading.
Yeah. No, and I love that you talked, first spontaneously about people, because it's true that a lot of times people feel like they lose friends when they're going through something rough, because people don't know sometimes how to be supportive in those situations. But it's also true on the opposite side, is that sometimes friends or people in your circle don't know how to be supportive when things are going really, really well for you either.
Right.
So, and I think I struggle with that too, of kind of like, well, is this making me feel lifted, or am I feeling like drugged down by this relationship, this friendship, or kind of feeling obligated, or just not so supported. So,
right.
Yeah, that's
and then
great.
You have to know.
Oh, I think
it's
I
not
lost
out of
her.
it come from. Can you hear me? Got me?
Yeah, I got you.
That the place that it might come from is maybe out of a fear of their own past failure, that they're trying to protect you, and it sometimes it's made to mean out of a good heart, but really there's still a refinement process that has to go through them. So it doesn't mean that you don't stop loving them. You still love on them,
Right.
Right. And you don't bash them either. You don't do that, but you just keep moving forward and follow up with them and say, hey, I'm just thinking about you. I love you, but you still keep moving forward towards the path that you're meant to go. And so I think that's so important too, is to keep loving, because then what might happen is you might inspire them. Maybe it's not their season yet. Maybe you'll inspire them a year from now, or 5 years, or 10 years from now, when they're in a different season in their life. And, they might be a new parent, and now they're like, okay, I really actually want to become better. I really want to be a better person. So let me go back to, so-and-so and talk to them when they were trying to talk to me about that vision board thing. It just, a season might them and click. A death might really, unfortunately, in those cases, experiencing death might make someone realize that life is really short, and I need to do something different. So you don't want to drop those friendships either, but just be respectful. Be you.
Right. And so absolutely. We're not saying cut people out of your life if they're not supportive for you, but definitely pay attention to your own reactions in relationships. And sometimes things happen, and then maybe later down the line you have a reconnection of some sort. But I definitely want to move on to the vision board and actually kind of spend some time talking about that. So that you and I are going to come back together again, January 20th, Saturday, January 20th at 2 p.m. I'm doing a small little vision board gathering party for my family in my house as kind of a practice run to work on my own vision board. And exciting news that I haven't even shared with you yet is that I had been connected with a creative studio called Bloom Creative Studio in Bangor. It's a studio it's a nonprofit. They support women who are survivors of domestic violence, domestic abuse, and they give them a place to live. They work in the studio. And they also do kind of themed events. So I'm gonna be coordinating with Bloom. I'm gonna be donating my time to do a vision board party / workshop there. That's awesome. That will be Friday, February 2nd at 6 p.m. starting at 6 p.m. I'm gonna put more information on my page, on my website, drliz.com. And I'm gonna be tomorrow back here in the afternoon with the manager of Bloom, Carol. We're going to talk a little bit more details about that. But so those are some fun events that are coming up.
That's awesome.
And so I'm super excited. Like I said, once something started and got the ball rolling, I feel like there's so many things and a lot of ideas going on in my head. So tell us, for you, what was, when you think of a vision board, if somebody has never done a vision board, heard of a vision board, kind of give us the nuts and bolts of that.
So I did the bucket list when I was 19, but I learned about vision boards when I started my business. And there was a woman called Terry Sabelle Foy. She does dream board kits. And so that's where I had started it. I purchased her dream board kit. You don't need to purchase that, but the book and the workbook really helps you. It really helps you to dissect, how do I create a vision board that's going to be successful, achievable, attainable, yet still allow me to dream for this year. And so you want to start with very clear, simple goals with a deadline. So many of the resolutions that you'll hear in the New Year's is, well, I want to lose weight, I want to pay off debt, and I want to travel. And that is way too vague. You need to start getting specific on when do you want to have that debt paid off? Where do you want to travel to? How much is it going to cost you? How much weight do you want to lose and by when? What pant size do you want to fit in to? So you have to get really specific with a date. You have to put a deadline. It's like saying, I'm going to go travel to Florida, yet you need a date. When you go to book your plane tickets, they ask you for your date, how many people are coming with you. You have to put the payment in there. There's so many details that come along with planning that. So you have to plan with a date, put the date down, be more concise. And so with that, some people like to cut out magazine pictures, or you could do, you could print out pictures, or you can just write something if you just want to write it down, be simple. My dad did it like that. He just wrote it down, but he was very specific with it. And he actually hit most of all of those goals that he put on his vision board. And then for me, I love pictures, but you don't want it to be too overwhelming that it's going to lose your focus when you look at it. Because the point of creating this vision board is not for you to just create it on January 20th or whatever date that you're doing it and then never look at it again. You're supposed to look at it every day. So you need to have it in a spot, one, where you're not going to have a dream killer look at it and tell you that you can't do that. But two, you need to have it at a place where you're at least going to look at it every day. So I go inside my walk-in closet every day. So that's where my stuff is at. I look at them, I visualize myself like really being on that beach in Bora Bora with my husband at little huts where you walk on them and you're just chilling in the middle of nowhere in the ocean. That's like that's my dreams.
Yeah, that's key, is that you're not only writing it down,
yes,
and having specific, realistic, achievable things, but you go through the process of when you're looking at it daily. You're picturing that it happened. You're picturing yourself as if your vision has come true. Again, it's not like you can say this point by point is how it's going to get there, but having some kind of an action plan is necessary.
And then
I think it's a good mix.
Go ahead.
A good mix of some goals that are really achievable, simple, and also, like you said, dreams that maybe you're not sure how it's going to happen, but put it on the vision board.
Right. And so, and also like for one of our for some of our clients, they'll say, well, for the one that we have a big transformation contest going on. And so for one of my friends, I said, what's the body that you want to look like? Like how do you want that physique to look like? Crop your head on that body and look at it every day and watch your body transform. But it's just not for you to visualize and sit there and not do anything. After you take that time to visualize, now go take some action. Go to the gym at least for 30 minutes. Even if it's just something simple as walking. You might not know if you want that bodybuilding physique or that tone type body. You might not know yet how to get there, but eventually as you keep sticking and staying, you'll eventually find people that are going to help you get better in that journey, of having a better body. Or, if you want to travel to a place with your family, we have 1 minute left, but if you want to travel to a place with your family, we have, put an envelope, have that vision of where you want to travel to, put the date of when you want to do it, and then put an envelope on there where every type of change that you find in your couch, in your car, in your purse, you put it in there and you say, by faith, I'm going to get there. and just watch how it's going to keep unfolding, because you're going to have a focused vision, something that's going to help excite you and motivate you. So we're at 7:40.
Yeah, so we're gonna wrap up. But
we have 5 minutes.
Something
It's 7:45, right?
Yeah, what time is it?
7:40.
Oh,
we're good.
Oh, perfect. This gives us a good time to kind of tie a bow onto this.
Yeah.
A couple of things that for the people that I already invited to my family to my house, I asked them to envision 3 different things before they come in. The first one is an accomplishment from the past year that makes you feel proud, a quote that inspires you, because the quotes are really fun to put on these vision boards, and a goal that you wish to achieve in this year. At least come sometimes when you're going to do the vision board. And again, you don't have to create this elaborate artistic masterpiece, but you can do just writing it down and putting it somewhere. The key is to think about it, reflect on it, plan, do some writing of it down, or cutting out pictures of, how I have a picture I'm going to print of a kitchen I want someday in a house that I'm going to live in.
Yeah.
And that's what, that's the idea. So a couple questions that I saw here. There was one question, where is Bloom? That Bloom Creative Studio is in Bangor, Pennsylvania. And again, keep checking back. Tomorrow I'll be live again from Bloom. So we'll put a connect with their Facebook page. I think it's called Bloom Bangor, @Bloom Bangor is the Facebook, and it's bloombangor.org is the website with the address. That's February 2nd. And there was some neat ideas. Margie, mom, had put writing something down each night before you go to bed, something specific that happened that you could be thankful for, positive about.
That's so good.
Is something, and I think, I forget where I watched something, but there was a woman who was giving a presentation said she was going through such a rough time in her life and really medical issues, and she was like, I can't think of anything good that happened to me today, but she reflected that when she went to bed, her partner tucked her into bed and gave her a kiss, and that was enough, and that was more than enough. But
right.
So that's also helpful in kind of keeping things moving forward, not neglecting the things that are distressing, giving attention to those, but also when we give attention to the sadness and the fear and the guilt and the shame, when we process that, we make room for the joy, we make room for the excitement.
Yeah, and what you focus on grows. So if you're focusing on gratitude, it's going to open up so many huge doors for you. There's some days in my gratitude journal I can just say, I'm grateful that I can breathe today, and that I have life, and that I can see, with my 2 eyes, and I have all fully functioning limbs. Because sometimes there's days that it's hard to find out what you're grateful for. So that gratitude journal helps to really focus on like the simple things that will help keep you grounded, but yet moving forward towards where you need to go. For sure. That's good.
So we are going to wrap up. And again, thank you, Brianna, for agreeing to do this.
Awesome.
Be a part of the Inspiring Vision series. Next month, I'll be back with the next segment, and the topic is going to be about kind of kicking the comparison trap to the curb. So I think sometimes we as women, we spend too much time in competition, or feeling like I'm not good enough and that person's doing this.
Right.
But rather than focusing on that kind of energy, focusing on how we can support each other and nurture each other, be part of the kind of that warrior type of environment for each other. So
that's awesome.
Stay tuned for an announcement of who the featured guest will be. And have a wonderful night. So keep checking back. Brianna, I will see you on the 20th for sure.
Yes.
I can't wait.
And if you are working with Dr. Liz, you're so blessed. to have someone so awesome in your life. So
Yeah.
keep rubbing elbows with her.
All right. Well, have a great night. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.